What's up, guys? Bill here from RedEye Gaming. Just want to mention real quick, make sure you guys subscribe and like and comment so you get to stay up to date with the channel and you get to interact with us. Alright, so here today I am testing the new Daytona Prototype, and I also am going to be testing the Prototype Challenge car. There are two different chassis available of this Daytona Prototype. However, they seem to be very, very similar, if not identical, except for the fact that one is a left-hand drive and one is a right-hand drive. I'm going to be driving the Delora chassis, which is the left-hand drive car. Alright, without further ado, let's get this thing on the road. Alright, so I've basically just stalled in pit lane. That's always good. Now remember, this is all just, you know, my first impressions. Haven't really driven the car, track combination, no setup on the car. Definitely locked my wheels there braking, so I gotta watch out for that. Okay. Gotta remember, this car is basically a freaking huge beast. They run about 550 horsepower or so, and they weigh about 2,200 pounds, so just to give you guys an idea of what these cars are. They run here in the US in the Tusk series. I don't know, I'm pretty sure they don't run anywhere else. I could be wrong, but I don't think these are running anywhere in Europe. I think it's definitely just an American series thing. But whatever, we will try them out. Oh yeah, big lock up into that turn, okay. So, definitely easy to lock the brakes here in this car. Well, this mod has been developed for quite a long time. In fact, the last update was back in January. And I have to say, when I drove the Daytona Prototypes then, I was not really a fan of the car. I mean, I had never driven a Daytona Prototype. I had never driven iRacing's version of it. Ooh, got a little deep on that. Okay. So I had never driven a Daytona Prototype, didn't know what to expect, and it kind of caught me off guard with how far the braking distances were, considering it was still a prototype car, but not quite the same as like a Le Mans prototype or something like that. But that right there, that kind of impressed me. I broke at the 100-meter board and slowed down from top speed. I think I was at about 170, and got down for that first corner. Gotta wait to feed the power on. Now it's the International Endurance Racing modding team that are developing this mod. They are, from what I understand, they're trying to mod every car into the game that is actually in the series. There's a full list on their website, which I will link in the description. Currently, the only two cars available are the Daytona Prototype, which there are two different versions of, and the Prototype Challenge. Although technically they have the C7R already in Assetto Corsa, so that car, as well as the 458 GT2, that car would be used in this mod as well. I don't think they're developing separate physics for those, so those would technically still be the ones that would be running. So all in all, I see a big improvement from the last time I drove this car. They did say they had a drivers actually test this mod out and you know, give them feedback on what it's really like. So that's pretty interesting. Always cool when you have, you know, real driver feedback, but I still think that only goes so far in terms of developing a car in a sim. Still nice though to get feedback from real drivers. I mean, that's really cool. just gotta wait to get on the power there. Now, in real life, the Daytona prototypes do have traction control, but they don't have ABS. So I'm guessing that's how they're modeled here. I haven't really spun the wheels out of a corner yet. I've been giving it pretty good amount of gas, so I'm pretty sure that they do have traction control in this game. Of course, doesn't mean you can't spin, it just means that it's a little bit harder to do. But also, when you're using your traction control, you're going slow. At least for the most part. So, I'm probably going to finish up 1 or 2 more laps with this car. I mean, all in all, it seems like a big improvement. It seems a lot easier to drive. I remember the thing just freaking steering like a pig the last time I drove it. But to be fair, that was probably 7 or 8 months ago, so I don't really remember it a whole lot. And the one thing I do want to say is the interiors here are absolutely so well done. I can't even begin to describe how well done these interiors are, though. I mean, I feel like this is really what it looks like when you are in these cars in real life. Car slowed down, turned in, hit the apex. Feels real good. I'm not going to drive the other chassis. As I said, they're literally the same thing that I can tell, except for one is a left-hand drive and one's a right-hand drive. They don't. I mean, I tried both of them very briefly. I was running very similar times, you know, not like there was a big difference, and obviously they do have to be to a certain specification to run in this series, so I'm pretty sure they're the same car, more or less, minus maybe a certain few things here with the chassis are different. All in all, this car does feel really good. I'm really excited to see the completion of this mod. They do have, it seems like quite a bit of work still. There's still quite a few cars that you need to develop. You know, it has a lot of promise, that's for sure. I mean, if this mod turns out to be, you know, what it's supposed to be, it could easily be one of the top mods for Assetto Corsa, if we can get it to that point. If we can get, you know, all the cars and that are participating and get the full field of cards, that would be probably an absolute masterpiece. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump over into the Prototype Challenge car. Alright guys, Phil here back in the Prototype Challenge class car now. Let's take this car out and see what it can do. Alright, so these cars in real life I think have around 450 horsepower. And they're pretty light, so this should be interesting. They also do not have ABS or traction control, so you really gotta drive these things. You can't rely on aids, that's for sure. Alright. There we go. Down here, brake. So far feels pretty good. Definitely feels a little bit, I guess, just light at the back end. The back end does feel like it wants to come around on you. So something to note, that's for sure. Once again, complete default setup, everything. I've only driven about 3 laps here, so definitely not really comfortable with the car or anything. I did in my practice run hit a curb the wrong way and it just sent me flying, so I'm going to try to stay off the curbs because I'd prefer not to end up in the sand. as I hit all the curves there. That's actually where it happened right there, but what happened was I was 100% full throttle and went through it, going through that section, and I caught the one curve wrong, and that was it, and it was just me into the sand trap. So that could be something probably worked on with the setup, or, I mean, at the same time, these are just like low prototype challenge cars. They probably don't handle curves very well in the real life either. At least I wouldn't expect them to. Really nice on the brakes there. Feels really good on braking that corner. Alright, gotta wait, gotta be a little patient on the power in this car, that's for sure. That's, well, you know, when you don't have traction control, you gotta manually do it. Oh, a little bit too much into that corner. God, I can't even imagine what that feels like going down in real life. Just going downhill, just making that turn. That must be a heck of a turn to do in real life. Into this great uphill section, too. Man. Doing this in real life must be absolutely incredible. Once again, I want to say great job on the interiors. I mean, it looks just stunning with the interiors just look great. I mean, you really feel like you're sitting in the cockpit of a race car. Then coming down that turn as you're building speed, coming down the downhill. Oh man, so many great corners here at this track. Man, this must be so much just absolutely, it's probably absolutely terrifying as well as a lot of fun. With all the changes in height. Alright, so we're going to probably run like 1 or 2 more laps. But, you know, the best way I can say what this car feels like is it just feels squirmy. It constantly feels like the back end wants to come around on you. That could be down to, you know, a setup or a driving style though, so yeah, you'd probably run a little bit more downforce at a track like this anyway, and I haven't touched any of the setup options, so that could be part of it. Other than that, I mean, the car feels good. It feels like, you know, a representation of what I would expect this car to be in real life. It does get a little light under braking, and then you really got to be patient with the throttle. There's no traction control. You know, you will spin, that's for sure. I learned that really quick in my first 3 laps. You know, you can spin this car really easily. If you're not careful with the throttle. You gotta watch those curves too, man. They'll throw you. A little bit wider than I wanted there, but that's okay. All in all, a great car, great effort here from this international endurance racing modding team. I think this has a lot of promise. You know, this could. The thing is, I could literally see myself, you know, driving this car for an hour or 2 at a time, like in a race. Now I realize that in real life they tend to go. I think the shortest race they do is 2 hours and 45 minutes, but. You know, I mean, I feel like this car would be really fun to drive in an endurance race. If you can keep it on the track. As well as the Daytona Prototype, that car was really fun to drive. It seemed a little bit easier, but, you know, that's just me. So there are, you know, a bunch of skins available for this car. but they all seem to be blank except for the one I'm currently running. And I don't know why. I guess they just haven't really put time to the skins, but they do have the drivers' real names, which is pretty cool. I do try to follow the Tusk series in real life. I don't always get to watch every race, but I try to follow it. Which reminds me, I kind of need to go watch the Oak Tree race because I like VIR. It's a great track. Always great racing. Like, if you watched last year's, you'd know why. Giancarlo Fisichella making the pass on the last lap. That was crazy. Alright guys, this has been this video here. I'm Phil from RedEye Gaming. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And for now, I will see you next time.